primaries in May.
All right, let's go so we can get started, please.
Running for the hills.
Roll call, please.
Herrick,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Raquel,
Here.
Keeler,
Here.
Crambley, here, Fitzgerald, here.
Please stand for prayer. Let us pray, O Lord, that we who serve your people in public office may have your blessing and guidance in our deliberations and decisions, so that what we accomplish here this evening will be just and beneficial to the people whom we serve.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now you got two sections of minutes. One from November 11/24. And then Tammy, which one did you say you had missing yet?
December 8th.
Okay, December 8th, we
I
still have to
wasn't
get
here.
yet. And then this was 1/12, our first meeting of the year is here, so. You want to come over and then,
Hey, Coach, excuse me.
Jack?
I got a 1027 hasn't been,
So do I.
had on them with it. 1027.
October 27th.
You have one?
I've got one, but it's not, hasn't been signed or nothing.
I think that's the one she said you're missing, right? Didn't you say?
No, December 8th.
Oh, December 8th.
We gotta get these together. And we gotta do it sooner rather than later and make sure that if we don't have
On the
copies,
village letterhead.
that you watch the videos and you make minutes, because we're gonna be audited,
The date, Irvin.
and we need those. That is the only record of what happens in this county.
All right.
Good, how you? I'm here.
I hear a motion to accept the minutes. Jack?
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes for 1027, 1124, and 0112.
I don't even remember when.
Adam?
Second.
Adam, second the motion.
Raquel, Baker,
Yes.
Raquel,
Yes.
Keeler,
Yes.
Crambley, Fitzgerald, Herrick,
Yes.
So the only one we got missing right now is December the 8th.
yes.
Please everybody turn your cell phones off.
Okay, Jack, you all right now?
Yeah, Coach.
Okay. Okay, I have nothing from the mayor at all. So we'll go to Bob, administrator's report.
We are experiencing some difficulty with the storm sewer separation. Of course, that neighborhood up there is probably over 100 years old, and they're digging down and finding pipes that are not shown on any drawings.
Union?
Oh, there by Murdoch. You know, that's where they're working at right now.
I see they're working on Union.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've experienced it all the way through, you know, there may be a change order coming down.
Now, you say that's 100 years old?
Yeah,
Well,
it's probably at least.
I spent 77 years of that.
So maybe you know where somebody's lying. You know, we haven't found any bodies yet, but we definitely, it's, you know, the contractor, what's happening is they're digging down and breaking some pipes, and then they're going to repair it. They're shutting the job down to go get the clamps or whatever else to repair it. I just talked to Thrash, and I said, that's not acceptable. I said, you don't shut the job down at all. Unless you hit a gas line, I don't want to hear about you shutting the job down. You know, you can still dig and dig and dig and come back and fix that. And most of these pipes are probably abandoned. If, you know, there's really nothing coming out. It might be they hit a sewer line or something like that. That's different. But so I'm going around a little bit with Thrasher. They guarantee me they're going to keep an eye on it. As a matter of fact, they brought another guy in because the guy that was monitoring the project is kind of green. I just said, you know, I don't want to hear, I know there might be some delays which cost money, but I don't want to hear you shut the job down and then coming back after us for the delays here. You know, it's just common sense, it's means and method how to do this job. You know, you should have additional equipment, additional material on site to be able to take care of this. So there may be a change order coming, but you know, these kind of things happen during construction. We've been very, very lucky. Matter of fact, I got a $10,000 credit coming, so you know it works both ways. So they're moving along. Like I said, you know, you get down underneath this earth. Right now, up in those areas, you just never know what you're going to run into. Some of the stuff, like I said, has been abandoned, so we don't know. We don't know who put that stuff there. Stats probably put it there for all we know. So you know, we're just moving along with that project. 830 meters installed. Of course, you know, that's been slowed down just with this COVID. We don't want to go into homes and things like that. I think we still have 70 on stock, but we've made great inroads when it comes to replacing these meters, considering we probably have 1,450 to 1,500 accounts out there. You know, we've come a long way. So I submitted the final draw on the grant. So we should be getting $7,700 some dollars, $7,700 some dollars back for the grant. It was a 75-25. We spent the last $10,000 on bleachers, and then we'll get $7,700 of that back. So overall, you know, we were the only one to get that grant. It was like $27,000. You know, hopefully we'll be able to use our park this year. I'm hoping. A lot of improvements have been done, especially just getting that whole place, you know, asphalted. I think it looks very nice. So we're working on it. If you guys, I don't know who Anya is. Anya, update on the policy. My spell check didn't catch that. My number 4. I'm sure that you guys have been looking at your policy, hopefully, thinking of what you want to include in this policy. Like I said, I'm not a policy maker. We carry out the policy from what the council gives us, but I gave you, I think, a pretty good start on what I think that you should be looking at. I'm sure that there could be many things added to it. At this point in time, they have not renewed the COVID-19, okay, as far as giving us extra money. We've had a few folks that had to go and use their vacation time or whatever else they have. Now, if we get that, we can retro. Go back because really the last agreement that they had was they gave them 80 hours for full-time folks and 64 hours for part-time folks. So if that comes back, I mean, there's a gazillion-dollar bill out there, you know, that they're trying to pass at this point in time. I'm sure with all the fraud, waste, and abuse in it, that we'll get some of the money for the folks that actually need it, and the folks that got COVID or have been exposed to it. But in the meantime, we can't pay people, you know, to have the time off. We did the last round because we had the money. So really look at that policy because we've got to have something in place here real soon. I'm hoping we don't have any more, but I mean, it's out there, folks. It's probably going to hit a couple more people. Plus, there's going to be people exposed to it that might have to quarantine again. So please just try to look at that and get together. I don't even know if you want to form a special group to talk about, you know, getting that policy together or what you want to do. As far as the phone line, you know, we finally, Comcast came in today, and guess what? Judy was off today, hunting for her dog. They've been hunting for their dog for 3 days, and I understand that. You know, I'd rather lose a couple family members than my dog. So, you know, they're better than family at times, but He came in, he really didn't know what we wanted, but we told him kind of what we wanted, but I found out that I got to go through World Radio. I called World Radio. World Radio is going to come down here Thursday or Friday if I get Comcast down here at the same time. So both of those folks have to be present to either put us a line in or at least have that line ring busy. So that's where we're at with this, and we will get something done here soon. I didn't think it was going to be this simple because I've had other people look into this and act like it's going to cost us $1 million. I don't think it's going to, but we will find out when those two get together. I would like to add a line if at all possible, but I at least want to get that line to ring busy so that people know that, hey, she's in there, but she can't answer the phone at this time. So that's my two proposals. That's what I want to have done. Now, Comcast said that they could come back on the 9th of February, and I told Judy to call them and tell them they better think about coming back down here Thursday or Friday because we pay them a lot of money. Ordered 200 tons of salt. As you know, these little snowfalls, believe it or not, and Mark, I'm sure will attest to it. Sometimes, you know, we go through 50 tons of salt. You know, it doesn't take a lot to go through 50 tons of salt. So right now, I've used up. I got 300 tons sitting up there, and I had almost 400 ton on the ground. So I've got 300 ton up there. I got permission from those folks to get 300 more ton. So I'm hoping this 300 ton lasts us. I'm probably going to go after at least 100 more ton just to be safe. But you know, it's a guessing game. It's a guessing game. You know, last year we had to pay for I think 300 ton that we didn't use. And an outrageous price, but you know that's what happens. Yes, sir.
Bob, I'd like to say, on behalf of me and the council, I thought this year, the time that it snowed, they did a fantastic job.
Yep.
I mean, 2 slow snows that we did have, I mean, they got around, you could drive any time in the day, the roads were good. And McCluster, they did a super job on that. And the guys did a great job.
Well, I say that my workers here, and I don't want to call them workers, these laborers and everybody else in this town, I always tell people they're second to none. My water treatment plant, my wastewater treatment plant, they're second to none. That's why I never get hired outside of here, because I brag about them so much. But the last time it was so good because I was riding.
You were, right, yeah, it was. I mean, you were on the phone, you didn't do nothing.
I was watching.
He was talking.
Yeah.
They did,
I
really did a great job.
Okay, all right. I got dirty, damn it. But, you know, I agree with you. You know, when Willie calls us out, you know, you probably, you know, when 911 calls me, they probably hear, oh, really? But I understand, you know, we will get out there. We try to hit the hills. We don't put any salt a lot of times on the flat areas because, you know, we just don't. Because we got to conserve that salt. We try to get the hills and get them taken care of. It's not like 25 years ago when salt was, you know, $1.25 a ton. And you could just keep going and going and going, and we could get in, you know, as much salt as we needed. But like I said, our guys, and I'm telling you, it's 3 main people that do this every time. 3 folks that do it all consistently. Everyone's doing
Can
it.
I ask you something, Bob?
Go right ahead.
Okay. I talked about this at the last week, but there wasn't much we, you know, because I asked if there was something we could do. Could I would request a copy of the call-out log that they did. I want to see how it is, what the excuses, what the times, who they're, you know, I want to know what's going on up there that nobody's coming out. And I would like that call-out log.
I'll talk to Timmy about it, but you know, here's what happens. This is my understanding. You can correct me, Mark. If I call Mark Baker out, he doesn't come out. Okay, and then I call somebody else out. I mean, he's the most senior guy. Okay, so if they're out for 4 hours, they get the 4 hours. The 4 hours goes against you also, right? But the next time there's a call out, you're still senior, correct?
Yeah, as long as the time.
Yeah, but see,
So if I have 20 and the lower guy has 20, I come out for 4 hours, that makes me 24, so the next guy gets called.
well, I understand that.
Now, if we both got 20 and I come out, or I refuse for 4 hours, I get charged for that 4 hours, and we're all equal again, then I'll get called.
My point here is, and I think this is what you was trying to get to, the same people reporting off, okay, they get the hours put against them, but they're up the next time again.
Okay, that's why I want to see the logs, how they do that. If they're reported off, is it marked off, you know? Just so that I can get an idea and talk about it up here. So is there something we can do?
I think there's only, the drivers out there are just the Mullins and Albee. I think that's all we have.
As drivers go. So
Yeah.
it's the drivers that get the call, not the other people.
Yeah,
It's
the
the
drivers
drivers
get the call.
get it first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Am I correct with that, Mark? That's the people that get called out.
yeah.
The drivers are first.
And then if somebody passes on the drivers, then
Yeah.
it goes to the operator or
Yeah.
whoever else
If
is
you could give me that,
involved.
that'd be great. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Thank you. Young boy was injured on one of the catch basins down by George's Run. We don't know if that's ours or not, okay? I may end up having to do a survey down there because I asked who put the village sign down there, and Timmy told me a long time ago that him and Mr. Brown just went down there and put a sign, and they told him kind of where it goes. I don't think that it was ever surveyed and made precise where the sign goes, because if you go straight across the street, those folks are not in the village of Mingo, but, you know, sometimes lines are jogged anyhow. So I talked to the county, they're looking into it as well as we are, okay? This kid fell in it. You know, we had cones and everything in it, but people have been moving them and things like that. So we're still,
That alleyway, by the
Beechwood.
electrical,
yeah, that's what we're,
that's the, my wife lived there.
I know.
And it's right there,
Well-
on the other side of the road is where it ends.
Well, I'm hoping you're right, because I'm pretty sure
Because
the catch
even
basin's
George
on the
Kamara
other side.
was the same way with George, you know.
Yeah.
Whether he was in Mingo or not. And he
That sign's not directly across from that, for sure.
Yeah.
It's down a little further, I'm pretty sure.
Was the
Well, it should
boy
be right there.
severely or just?
No, I don't know, he had to get a couple stitches, I guess, or something, yeah, it wasn't like it was life or death, but he, you know, but we're gonna see what goes on there. Like I said, if it's ours, you know, we'll take responsibility for it. And see, what happens is there's some semis running down there, and they park over on the right-hand side, and they run across this thing, and they're breaking it up. Now, they're all gone now, so, you know, they know what happened down there, so I haven't seen them parked there for a while. We have an underground storage tank, which is, it has a leak. You know, these could be a nightmare, honestly. I had one out at us in local, but the local folks out there kind of took care of it a little bit.
There was a grant a couple of years ago looking for tanks or storage tanks.
Well, the brownfield grants can actually look at something like this, and I will look to see what I can find, but I'm gonna talk to EPA and see what we can do, okay? Because, you know, all they're going to do is come in and dig it up. And then they will sample the material until, I mean, they will sample the material if it goes a half a mile. I mean, to make sure that there's no material in it. It's ridiculous, honestly. It really is ridiculous. But, you know, we've got some quotes right now from 25 to 28K, but I refuse to pay that at this point in time, you know?
Evans Curry was handling that a few years ago for the Port Authority. You know, they had grant money, they were looking for sites.
Is that right?
to Use it up, yeah.
I can talk to him too,
He
just to
should
see
know
if
a lot
there's
about it.
anything around.
Yeah.
Where's the tank located?
Down by the sewage treatment plant.
Where they're digging now?
No, where they're not right there. I'm pretty sure it's right off the right-hand side of
Right, yeah.
where the other pump is at.
Red concrete set there.
But these can be a real pain. But we'll get through it. We repaired the wall in the storage barn, sewage treatment plant. That was a insurance claim. Adam, you know, I don't know if I guess I'll bring some. Adam, you have the lane there. It's a private lane, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I just got a question for council and probably you. I think that we still use that lane to go down there for the garbage pickup.
Correct.
So I know that you don't want anybody coming back there with the snow plow because of the salt, even though we can plow there and not put any salt down. Okay, we can do that if you wanted. But if it's a private lane, we probably shouldn't be servicing it at all, probably, with anything, right? I mean, I don't know.
That's
What you going to do to the folks though? I mean, if
right.
they're going to bring their
I
garbage
understand.
in,
Right.
you know, if they got to carry their garbage all the way up there, that's going to be a real hassle to them.
Yeah.
So is there any way, you know, I mean, are we going to service it? I mean, they don't want us plowing, but should we still take the garbage trucks down?
Have we been?
Oh, yeah, we have been plowing also, but it is a private lane. At this point in time, from that survey, it's been identified as a private lane.
The garbage truck usually only comes about halfway back in.
They just back in there a little way.
That's all far, they never make it around that bend where they had the steps coming down. And then they used to bring, sometimes they bring the smaller, like the 1 ton or something like that, and just throw bags in the back of that. I remember years ago, because when I lived in that garage apartment, I would just dump them off the edge, and they would grab them. You probably would know.
I went to a bunch of service directors through my years to try to have them put it out front of their houses because it's actually a safety hazard for guys to be dragging garbage out of there. We had guys falling before on ice back in there. From the end there where we could stop, we could get the garbage from there, but it's the other duplex down there and another house and then another house
Yeah.
right there. All that could be on the front. We go right past there anyway in the trucks to get, you know, Mrs. Ferroni's garbage. Right there, and the guy up from hers, so I've been asking them for years to put that garbage down there. There was one old lady lived down there that, she only had 1 bag. I mean, it was just 1 bag.
Yeah.
And we always took care of it. You know, through the years, we had a couple of people, Stroopy was living at the one, I mean, we had 8, 9, 10 cans of dragon by.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the duplex down in there,
It was
yeah.
bad.
Both
Well,
sides.
you know, the folks on the top of there, could they, I mean, if they just back down that alley and not turn in where you're at, they just back down and butt it out to the edge of that alley. I mean, would that be even better there? And then you know,
Can
to
we,
get, I don't know how many houses that would cover right there.
can we send a letter to the other 3 houses and
5
ask them to
houses.
put their garbage
5.
in the front?
We do whatever. I just, you know, I just want to know if we're gonna service that lane or not.
Well, we can never ever go down around there.
Well, I know.
We just go right to the end, past the garage doors.
Yeah.
That's as far as we can go. And we
That's
do
the
the
thing,
solid
they can't service the
tile.
whole thing the way it's set up now. Like they said, well, the way they had the steps out, which were removed, but then even on the other side, there's kind of an offshoot of that private alley where houses, you know, if you check their deeds, they have access to the private alley over there, but it's blocked off. I know last summer, there was a woman living in the one house. She was probably about 8.5 months pregnant, and there was a emergency call up there, and they had to come. They couldn't get her out of her house on Clifton because you come out and it's like that straight
Yeah,
hill
I
down.
know.
So they had to pull in the private alley, and it's blocked right over there. And so they had to take the stretcher down through the grass, all the way through the yard to go get the lady, and bring her all the way back up through the grass, up into like the private alley and load her up and then take her from there. So it's definitely not an ideal setup, but still, there's still some things pending.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we could always just, like I said, scrape it, put no salt down whatsoever.
I mean, it's blacktop now. Back in the day, it was gravel, and it was hard to plow. You'd have to keep chirping in front of your plow so you don't
Feather
dig
in,
in.
yeah.
But it's blacktop now. I think
I
we
know.
could have somebody.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're not catching the edges or something like that, 'cause if that starts to chip away, you know, that's when we're
Talk
having
about
problems.
the plow.
Yeah, but as long as it's straight out, you know, it's no problem. But the only thing is like, they would back the salt truck in as far as they could go, and then they'd hit the spreader, and then dump a ton right there, and then they just gradually pull out, you know what I mean? Right
Well, I
there.
tell you what, I can just tell them, you know, if we do service that, we won't put any salt down,
Okay.
you know? Because I think you guys probably still need that snow plow a little bit back in there to get out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would help for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than, I know,
Okay.
we
All right.
cleared it a few times and when it was really bad, but, you know, before the salt truck got around, but yeah, if it's, yeah,
Okay.
in my mind,
Well, that's,
it would help.
well, I got, that's all I have on my report. I got the water reports. They say the most, they got 830 meters. They got 7 remaining stock, I already told you. Routine compliance samples went to Massey Labs. Routine service calls, the hoops facility locating is ongoing. Delinquent disconnects are ongoing. And we are hitting them heavy. I don't know if anybody's getting any phone calls, but we are going after people. I mean, we just have to. You know, there's a moratorium was out there when COVID was on. You know, I think a lot of people really took advantage of that. And so just, you know, if you guys get phone calls, don't deal with them. Send it down to Wayne. Wayne will talk to me. Okay, we had an individual in here the other day. Okay. Don't try to deal with that when you don't know all the sides and everything else. That's all I'm asking of you, because I've already been through it. Okay, I've already been through it with that, and I'm gonna tell you, we're not doing anything wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. We're not doing anything wrong.
Do you have Wayne's number? I can't say I've got none, but
But I can get you Wayne's number, you know.
yeah, if I were to get one, because I wouldn't want to deal with it anyway.
Yeah, just don't try to deal with it. Just let us handle it, you know. Rollout bills of rental property owners is imminent. We anticipate several of them going out February, March billing cycle. JSW has been averaging approximately 40,000 gallons per day. They keep taking it. Of course, they're upgrading everything over there. Let's just hope that place opens back up.
It's supposed to be in March.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. The humidifier was delivered. That's another major milestone for us to get that put in. Like I said before, folks, you know, I didn't just do little repairs to these places. We're going to have these places as functional as possible, at least while I'm still in this position. You know, they'll be as functional as they were when they were built. You cannot let your infrastructure go in this. You just can't. The sewer construction continues on the EQ tank and the storm sewer system on Churchill. Talking about the underground storage tank, we're working on that. Cal is installing antivirus package on nearly all the computers. He got us a very good price on it. I appreciate it, Cal, what you do. And with that, I have no more to say.
Okay, Jack?
Hey, Bobby, under you, can you give me a price on Diamond Dust for a baseball field? We promised them to buy that last year, we never did. Can you give me a price on it? Like maybe half a skid? Thank you.
You will.
Mark?
I got a phone call over the weekend that, do we have an ordinance of garbage cans must go back to their houses?
Yes.
They should be returned back to their houses. I mean, we got an ordinance out there, Mark, that, you know, you have to have a container, okay? You know, we got all kind of things that,
Well, this resident's saying that, you know, people ain't putting their garbage cans back for like all week.
no.
I got the same complaint. It's up on 10.
Yeah.
Well, mine's sitting against my garage the whole
There's
week.
like, she counted like 19 2 days
Really?
after the garbage went that are still
Well, I mean, if
out
they're
on
still
the-
sitting out in the front, I would say that could be an issue. Now,
Some
mine
people-
was,
That's what
mine
they
was
are,
sitting-
sitting in front by the curb where they're picking the garbage up,
Yeah.
they're not taking it back in.
I'm sure we have something that says within a reasonable time those need to be returned back to
It's the
work.
night before and the day after.
The day after, okay. Mine's set against my garage, but it's recessed back, so I hope it didn't bother
No, that's on
anybody.
your problem. This is
Yeah.
like at the curb, Bobby.
This is
Okay.
at the
At the
curb.
curb.
A couple of people had to stop and move them. I had the same.
And I explained there's a lot of people work actually, you know, daylight, and when they put it out, they come home, it's dark, and they just don't go to get it, they get it the next day. But there is a couple of them that actually leave it all week.
Well, you know, if you would find, if they would find out who they are, I mean, I would even go talk to them and say, hey, you know, I don't want to make a big deal about
I don't
this.
even think they know they're doing wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to make a big deal about this. But if, you know, maybe, matter of fact, maybe I could ride around because that's my hill, and if I see something, I could stop in and talk to them. Because more likely, either they're out working or they're just forgetting. I don't think they're, you know, doing anything that, okay, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anybody else?
I-
Jody Lynn?
Tammy, could we just get the 11:24 minutes? Are those ones you handed out tonight?
11:24, yeah.
I have a correction on them. I wasn't here, I was absent that day. And you've got me in unfinished business and miscellaneous that I stated there was a concern of a part-time employee using the fire department staying at the fire station for 24 hours. It was not me. I was absent that meeting, so I don't know.
Yeah, I have you down as absent. Okay. I'll fix that. I'll fix
We
that.
never approved these minutes, I just, I don't know if we're going to or not, but I just noticed that I was absent.
I'll correct that on Kim's copy.
Okay, Jody?
Thank you.
I thought we approved all 3 sets.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Willie? Up on Eleanor?
I thought we just.
You know what house I don't
Yeah, he named all the dates.
January, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've got,
But yeah, I mean, I
they got a
changed
van
it
sitting there.
morning, so.
It looks like there's no plates on it. They got, I just feel sorry for the neighbors sitting up there. Is there
Big
anything,
truck is.
yeah, is there anything that we can do, fire departments? They, first of all, I know that they can't have vehicles without plates up to date. And they got tires and everything else. Is there something we can do to cite them?
Yeah,
Say, clean this up.
We got a lot of houses like that.
I know, but I'm picking on
Process.
one.
That one, he leaves that big truck out on the
I
road.
just go
and
by it
everything.
every time, so I know that we have a lot of those. So really, we need to start cracking down on some of those
Yes,
folks,
we
really do. Anything you guys can do to get them incited,
We'll
whatever
start,
else.
I know we haven't usually done some property maintenance inspections like that usually until like April. And send Kevin out and start doing it now.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I'm trying to think, I went by one the other day, and it was just like I did a double take because I couldn't believe all the stuff that was in the yard.
okay, that's good sense.
Okay. All right, Mr. Huggins has given us a report for council here. They have submitted the anticipated revenue worksheet to the county for approval. They expect these to be returned to us by the weekend. And moving forward, he would like to schedule a meeting. Now, it's up to us if we can make it Monday, February 1 at 6 o'clock. At this time, you will receive all year-end reports and necessary worksheets to begin work on the 2021 budget. Can everybody make that meeting? February 1st at 6. Everybody okay with that?
I think,
Jody, you okay? Pat?
I think.
Jack?
No problem, Seth. I'll be there.
Mark? All right, then, we'll meet then. Jags, okay, February 1st. That's all taken care of. Okay, solicitor's not here.
Oh, time out. Since the solicitor is not here, and I'll ask a question, but anybody know about our lawsuit that's going on with these people? Or
What people we
what
talk
people we talking about? The ones that the police department's involved with?
haven't heard
I
one.
heard about it, but I don't know anything.
We got a
where it's
lawsuit
at.
against
You know,
What's that for?
I sent all the documentation off to him that he requested. I talked to Ernie yesterday and he advised that the lawyer was going to schedule another meeting here soon. I just don't know when.
Okay, Willie, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Cory?
Okay, everything's going good with the department. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd like to see you too.
Okay.
Get that all 6'9" frame up there so we could say, there you go.
Okay,
You're taller than that pillar.
Everything is going well with the department. Up to date, we have 3 physical arrests, all felony arrests. One guy, he was on the run for about, I'd say about a month and a half. We ended up catching him about a week ago, apprehending him. We got a gun off of him, as well as he had charges of aggravated burglary, aggravated robbery, weapons under disability, tampering with evidence. Another guy we just got a couple days ago. We got another firearm from that. He used a firearm to pistol whip in mail. We did get him as well, apprehended him. Up to date, we had 5 citation traffic arrests. And as you guys can see, a lot of the junk vehicles have been pulled off of the roadway, as well as uncovered mattresses. That's all I have.
Can I ask one thing? When does the rubbish pick up?
well, that's Tuesday of the month.
It takes all week.
It takes them
Starts
2
today,
or 3 days at least to
It
get
usually
everything.
takes a few days for me to get around.
There's a couch somewhere by. complex up there in the grass, so.
I'm good shape.
Coffee.
Oh, so do I.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
No roots or tears.
Hey, duct tape. The leather jacks.
No.
Brandon, you ready?
Things, Mayor Musson left the report. Mike Allen is our full-time fire department. We did a transfer, so it's effective Sunday the 31st. So he's already village employee. He's going to transfer, sent for his pension physical on Monday. Everything's back, so he'll start as of this Sunday, the 31st, is the new schedule. Fire department guys, we're going 12-hour turns. So they'll be on 12, 7A, 7P, turn A, turn B. I'll be strictly Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. I have my part-timers at the point filling in any of the part-time spots to save on the budget. So, a couple things. I'll show you guys some of the CARES Act money that we spent on. This is still used today, but this was back in the Jack Bertel days. When you intubate somebody, you had to use one of these to intubate. They still use them in the hospital. You have to intubate somebody. Biggest thing is I pass it around. Video laryngoscope. Yeah, these are about $5 grand a piece. Disposable.
Don't pass it around.
Yeah, don't pass it around, yeah. Just
Disposable, put it on. Put a new one on. It's camera. So you don't really have to actually get down into somebody's face anymore. The big ticket item was on the CARES Act. So we have one in each squad, and one might jump back in the truck. So, demonstration. Another thing I implemented when I took over was accountability tags. All personnel have accountability tags. I have a command board. We have a fire or something. I tagged everybody in where they're supposed to be at. If somebody gets killed, the biggest thing is they're going to come after the incident commander. You know, who's in charge, who's accountable, where's everybody at. My job is on scene is to run the scene and also know where all my personnel is at. If I have 100 people on the scene, I need to know where all 200 people are at all times. This played into a big important role. This past week we had a working structure fire. This was a brand new tool. Brand new tool, 2-inch of padding all the way across the thing. One of my personnel, 2 of my people, one of them had this inside, upstairs. The room flashed over, got so hot it just exploded. Knocked my personnel to the ground, Mayday was activated, knocked them to the ground, they got disoriented. We had to send crews in to get them out. Using this, I knew my personnel, I knew who was upstairs, I knew where they were at, I knew those 2 people, where they were at and who they were. One of the things we bought on the CARES Act money, I pushed for was for everybody to have a radio. One for cross-contamination. We're not sharing radios. Police department did the same thing. They all have their own personal radios. The radio's in a strap. It goes on. Every personnel on that fire ground had a radio. So they can call for help. That's one thing we did not have. Radio, these are $600 to $800. I got 15 of them. You know, everybody who's in that fire had a radio to call for help. They hit this button on the top, lets the 911 center know immediately something's wrong. They call me on the radio, something's wrong. You know, when the radio's on, all the new radios are set up with the feature. My radio is the incident commander. I have 2. This is mine. This is mine. I have 2 of them because I need to be on 2 channels. When they call for help, everybody on the fire ground don't know it. They're trying to, on the roof, they're trying to vent the roof, they're trying to get water, they're trying to fight fire on this side, put a ladder up on this side. I can hit 2 buttons on this radio that sends an alert to everybody's radio right now. They stop exactly what they're doing. It activates everybody's radio immediately. You know, these things are life-saving issues, as Jack can tell you. Communication on a fire ground. Those 2 people could have been killed very easily the other day. This is definitely worth the money that we spent. The accountability system we put into play. When I come back to the fire, I come back as the assistant chief. We come around July, we had the fire duties. I had 3 people from Mingo, me, Ray Hall, and Josh. That was it, 3. This fire on Clifton Avenue, I had 17 Mingo firemen on scene. And I'm glad I did, because mutual aid companies, we rely on Brilliant and Hillendale. They're part-time paid. It's hard to get any volunteers. The truck came with 1 or 2 guys. If I didn't have all my people on scene, those 2 people in that structure exploded, probably would have died. Yes.
So our relationship with Hellendale is still pretty much...
We were really good. I
Really
repaired relations with Brilliant and Hillendale. The fact is, they're volunteers. In the daytime. It's hard. You know,
was there, right?
I call for Steubenville. I doubt that. You will see our ambulances in Steubenville. It's not ASI, it's Steubenville Fire Department. If I can send a crew to help Steubenville Fire, he vowed to send a fire truck. As soon as I found out that the room exploded, I called for Steubenville. They were on scene in 4 minutes or less. No questions asked. Personnel. You know,
No, you just got to keep those good relationships.
you know, it's a give and take. You know, we're not for the, you know, it's not ASI anymore. We're helping an actual fire department. You know, I even repaired a relationship with New Alexandria Fire Department. Well, all of us are on that fire for hours. Volunteer Fire Department New Alex came down with a fire truck with 5 people and sat in our firehouse in case we had anything else in town. My thing is to try to always have Mingo protected 100% of the time. So that's, you know, I'm trying to repair relations. I understand right now volunteers are hurting. If we continue the way we are right now on our call volume, this will be the busiest year we probably ever had. And last year we had over 1,000 calls. We're in the mid-80s right now on calls. And we still have several days to get there. Calls are not stopping. Continuous. And the calls are becoming more serious. You know, I definitely want to thank everybody for allowing us to use the CARES Act money for a lot of things. You know, the radios, that was a lifesaver. And God, I mean, we could be sitting at a funeral. I mean, it got really bad. I mean, for instance, you can see it tore that whole pool and took everything off of it. It knocked them guys down to the ground. So, you know, 17 people, that hasn't happened since Jack Patel was chief. So, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with my response time. Happy with personnel work and my schedules are filled. I got people begging to work. Cardiac arrest down by Mr. Smith's house. I had 12 people in 5 minutes on the scene. That's never happened. Doesn't happen. So we're trying the best we can. You know, I'll get out on property maintenance, the house on Spring, sidewalk that's collapsed in, called the realtor. They're supposed to be taking care of that.
Yeah, I've talked to the owner also, and you know, they're trying. Actually, the woman that's living, I didn't even know anybody was even living in there. And the woman is a daughter, the mother owns the house. And I just, you know, they said, we're trying. It's going to cost a lot of money to repair that, that's for sure. I said, you know, you got to try and do something here pretty soon. The realtor wasn't real happy with me when I called him.
Yeah, very well percent, yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, it has been addressed. She has been talked to. You know, another month goes by, nothing's done. I will get back on her again, or you can get back on her again. You know, I understand. You know, people don't have money at this point in time, and it's very difficult.
But I just want to thank council for letting us use that, a lot of the CARES Act money and things and tools that we needed. Unfortunately, I've used this, I just got these actually just come in. I've used these twice so far on somebody, there's been cardiac arrest. Lucas devices have been used. You know, it's becoming busier. So, we're doing the best we can. I got people begging to work. People applying, schedules were filled, people coming out on call outs. I couldn't ask for any more. And I just want to thank you guys for the support. Ambulance is back in service. It did come back from Burgess today. It is back. It is fixed.
What was wrong with it, Fred?
On the Ford chassis, there was a strut that was underneath a warranty recall. That was taken
That was
care
the
of.
vibration.
The electrical panel had circuit boards that were blown out of it. Those have all been repaired. So the squad's back in service. So we're back to 2 squads. That's another thing I do want to ask. I think we really need to look at specing and getting another ambulance ordered. Because we have the other one on the levy. So I'd like to get that every year, that the cost of the chassis go up. So I think we probably need to look at, by the end of the year, order another ambulance.
Okay, Brandon, you done?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, is that Mike?
Go ahead.
Why the newspaper's here?
Huh?
Why the newspaper's here? I think he should tell the newspaper that the fire department's going to be out tagging cars on private property. If you have a disabled vehicle or a vehicle with no license plates, we are going to tag it and tow it. On the street belongs to the police department. On private property belongs to the fire department. It would save them a lot of legwork if we notify the press to put that in the paper.
Okay.
I like that spare tire, I do. Because honestly, for me to have to go out, I got to take pictures of it. I have to actually look up who owns the property, who owns the vehicle. It gets really sticky if something's in probate, if it's somebody else's vehicle, not the tenants or the renters or whoever. And it's a 10-day process. They get a certified letter. It is a process. So if he wants to put that in there, by all means, we're going to be out with it. So
Maybe after,
I get the headline.
go ahead.
Well,
Well, you think about it after,
He doesn't have to, Mike.
no?
If it's on the street, he can do anything he wants
Oh, all
to.
right,
Private property, he's got to go that way.
okay.
I mean, I'm really not joking.
But like I said,
It
we
wouldn't hurt us.
go together and
It
just
wouldn't
make
hurt my
contact with
feelings.
people and let them know that you're in violation. And I said, most people would just, comply and just.
All right,
But
let's
you
go.
could put that down, crack it down on water and
Plates,
put
this
them both in it.
tire.
I would like to go to executive session afterwards for personnel with council real quick.
Okay, with the finance, we're going to reschedule the meeting anyway with Jaggers on the 1st, so that's taken care of. On safety, Mark, I believe he put you on safety.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone was on.
We're going to have to get together. Willie, I'd like to have a meeting with the 3 of us with you, because Bob said that the signs are in, speed signs and everything like that. And with your help, we can all get together, the committee, and go ahead, we'll set it up. Now I'll get a hold of Jody, Lynn, and Mark. Right, you're on that committee now, right? Okay. And we'll discuss and what type of signs to put up and everything like that. And Bob just brought up the same problem we had talked about, was Eleanor Street. Adam was there with us. We're going to have to decide whether we're going to have one-side parking or keep the double, and we're going to have to discuss that. So, Jody, when are you free?
I'm working from home, so anytime after 5.
You notice the speed limit sign on Mary? Did that just spring up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I ask Cal?
Kelly's, Eddie Zdansky got a hold of me about people speeding on Mary Street. She said they're going 50 miles an hour. I texted Willie, he told me it was 15 miles an hour. And that he would get a hold of Tammy. I asked if there was a sign up there that it was 15, and there's not. Asked Willie what the speed limit was. He told me it was 15. So he said that he would probably get a hold of Timmy and have a sign put up there so the residents know it's 15 in case they don't.
Yeah.
I'll take the blame for that.
That's all right, there's no blame ever, it's just, the there's a protocol, you know, it's just,
I know.
I'm happy you're proactive, plain and simple, there's no blame here.
Now that we have it posted, when the kids want 50, or whoever it is want 50, we can say, hey, it's clearly posted, it's 15.
I tell you what, let them go 50, they better use the whole runway.
Yeah.
And that road's in bad shape too, so.
Jody, what time you get done with work?
5.
5? Could you get here at 5:30?
When I'm working from home, I can.
I was thinking, we have finance meeting at 6.
On the 1st?
Yeah, on the 1st, you and I and Willie and Mark can meet here at 5:30
Okay.
and discuss that. How's that?
Good.
Works for me.
Okay, that's good.
What side of the street was those signs on before, remember? Banco side,
I'm gonna say on the right.
on Banco
Going
side?
down, yeah.
That's where the signs are at before, on Banco side.
Yeah, the
I think
lady,
pretty much.
there was a lady who came out of her house and talked to us when me and Adam and Satch went down.
Right.
And she said they would have been on Sagan's side of the road.
That's the opposite
That's
side.
the other side then.
Yeah.
They do come down there pretty quick. My sister lives down there by Sagan, and I come out sometimes, I almost get clipped just backing out her driveway, so they're
Well, the
fine.
problem that you have up there is you can't even hardly get buses through at times. You couldn't get a snowplow through. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do. I mean,
Yeah, but that's what the one lady said. She said, I'd rather have it on both sides because it slows them down
yeah,
going
And
down
then
the
some
hill.
kid's gonna come out from one of them cars and
yeah. I mean,
it's gonna be bad.
I'm pretty sure pretty much all of those roads up there have signs like that. I don't know what happened to those signs, but all of them had signs, you know, no parking this side, you know, so.
There was another sign up there, I think it was probably for kids.
Yeah, they put that out there. so-
They put them up themselves.
Yeah,
That was
put
one of
that
the main signs.
Children at play or
Yeah,
something.
drive like your
or
children,
something, yeah.
drive like your children live here.
Billy Coon, yeah, they put that in there, next door to my
One
sister,
long.
because he's got 3 little ones out there.
I don't know if you put it out, years ago, Banco put a bunch of signs out, spray paint and this and that. Banco did a lot on his own the one year, but that was, a few years back. But it just makes it tough.
I mean,
like
the
you
left
said.
side always was bad, the right wasn't that bad. Now all of a sudden it's starting to be.
Yeah, it gets, like I said, I come down every morning and you know, you definitely have to pull over, you know.
You got a driveway, you can park in the driveway.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
Yeah, I
that's not
agree.
in their driveway, plain and
Yeah.
simple. I mean, it's, yeah.
All right. Okay. Jody Lynn, anything service?
Yeah.
Okay. Jack, anything water?
No, Mike.
Okay. How about recreation?
No,
Anything?
no, Mike.
Okay. I have nothing for health and
Well, no
pension.
big deal in here.
Where?
As far as recreation goes, I was thinking, like you said, I mean, being optimistic about the summertime, hopefully we can enjoy the pool this year,
I hope so.
Trying to think ahead a little bit. We always get into the same jam, trying to get lifeguards. I was thinking about possibly starting to explore now, what, I know Steubenville's pool, Millsop, sometimes they have different lifeguarding classes. There's something we can do to incentivize, like, hey, as a village, I think it's $250 a lot of times to pay for the class. There's something we can do, like, hey, we pay for it, if we can get guaranteed service. Just work something out, or just start thinking about lifeguards now before it's, we're up against the clock and it's a little bit too late. But it'd be nice to pin some down now before they commit, elsewhere.
I'll ask him when we start their lifeguard up at Big Red.
Okay. I think, like March, April, I think. I looked on the
I'll ask, you can ask,
auditorium website.
or I'll call Ken.
Yeah.
I was, Fallsview was open all year last year. I got a pass there and they had no problems at all. They kept the things you lay on and stuff, the chainsaw, whatever. They had them all spread out, at least 6-7 feet apart. And they didn't have any issues. I'm friends with those 2 guys who run the pool, and I always told them, let me know if anything ever happens there. But they went through the whole year and they got a lot more, people coming there because it was the only place that was open.
Right.
So, but it was, as many people that was going there, they had no problems there, so.
Well, it takes one of those ends.
But they probably had 3 times the amount of people that they usually have because all the other places were closed and they had no issues.
I felt comfortable last year though, a little bit, with it closed, but I'd really like to see if we can, because, that's a definite showplace for us. And I'm gonna really try to get that splash pad back to where it belongs. I'm still working with those folks that won't communicate back to me, but, we actually have some money sitting out there, and I want to get it back to where it operates on its own, the way it's supposed to, with the eye and the whole 9 yards. It's a shame what happened up there with that, honestly.
They have, if you're a lifeguard, like the ones over in Fallsview, is it different for Ohio? Do you need a license or whatever, or permit to be a lifeguard in Ohio and West Virginia, or is it pretty
I don't
much?
think if there's like a certain amount of hours, different criteria
Different
to get a
rules for
license,
Ohio and West Virginia.
different requirements.
There's different requirements.
That's something I'll have to look into. If I talk to somebody who really knows about that
Well, I
subject.
talked to those guys last year, I said, because, we were possibly gonna open up, and then we didn't, so we were gonna be short on lifeguards. And I told them guys, look, if any of your lifeguards aren't working on this day, whatever, and they're looking for work, might be able to accommodate them, coming over and get some here, which eases our burden too.
Right.
And, but it, never came about, but I'm sure that, they have a full staff, they have, I think, 6 lifeguards and then they go 2 shifts, because they're open sometimes till 8, 9 o'clock, so,
Right.
they get 4 or 8 hours, whatever it is, it's a possibility for this year, for lifeguards.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack? Okay? Jax, I said, you
Me.
okay? Yeah, done?
Yeah,
Okay.
stop talking.
All right, I have nothing for health and pension. Senior citizens, Pat, you got anything? No? Okay. BHJ, nothing. Jody Lynn, anything for economic development? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Streetlights.
One to executive
Huh?
session.
Oh,
Before we go to executive session, I passed out a contract last week. Did anybody give them back to me?
No, I've got it, but I have a question, Jack. Have you met with anybody yet?
No.
Okay, because I'd kind of like to know what they're asking for.
Well,
Yeah,
me and Adam will sit down and look at what you guys wrote up first.
well,
Yeah.
it's kind
Well, I
of,
mean, the only 2 places we can go are wages and health pension, or health care. So, until I know,
I mean, I have mine here, but that's exactly, that's what I wrote on mine.
I've looked up for language more than anything else.
For what?
Language in the contract you guys don't want to.
I'm gonna tell you what, I read this whole thing, and I also read the service in there as well, to see if maybe they had something that wasn't in here that we might want to, tap into. Actually, this agreement is better than the service one. So there really is not a whole lot language-wise. I mean, in here, that I felt didn't even change, because when I compared the two, I was like, wow. When we do the service, they're in trouble. No, I'm kidding. But I read both of them, Jack, and there were a lot of different things that they do in service, and the same thing in here, but it was different how they handled it.
Well, if you wrote notes in there, me and Adam will sit down and look them over.
Well, no, I didn't. I mean, because this one is good. This contract here, I read everything.
That was done 32 years ago.
I know, but it's still good.
All right.
The service one over there, some of their things were like, when we go to that one and you hand me one of these, I'm going to have a lot of changes on it.
We to those folks here.
That's what I'm just saying. I did not find anything
Okay.
language-wise or anything. So really, the only thing that I read on here is probably what's going to come up is wages and insurance, and that's going to be probably from their side. And it's just going to determine how you want to change that when you sit down with them.
I'm not going to change nothing.
Well, I'm just saying, if what they want to do, it's going to be up to you guys.
are you guys negotiating with Brandon, or is that the mayor? I know we had talked before about
I know, who do
Brandon
you
possibly coming out of the union, and it was like, I have no idea where that's.
That's why I'm going to executive
So that's up to the mayor,
Who do you negotiate with on this one?
the union.
I mean, is it Brandon as?
No,
Who's the local?
Who's the representative?
Who's local one? Who's the representative?
I don't know who the representative is.
The negotiating team, Doug Hartsock's the president, Todd's on the PD side, Todd's on our side, both chiefs at the back.
Oh, okay.
Time.
I just wondered.
I'll let you know ahead of time.
Yeah.
There's only two guys.
So,
Me and
I mean,
Adam,
here's
you
this.
pick two. That's
We
all.
had 3 on there before, because I was on with you too.
Right, we're only got 2 this time. So you guys decide what you want to do. I'm gonna write a letter to Kevin and tell him when we want to meet.
Yeah.
I can't have 5 or 6 guys here screaming.
Yeah, well, you're always gonna have screamers.
So you guys have no other comments?
Not until I know what they're asking
Okay.
for.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's, I'm
and then I
serious.
wasn't sure if you guys were negotiating with Brandon or if
No.
the mayor
That's-
does
that's
that.
That's between him and the mayor right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't do
But,
that.
yeah, but I'm serious, Jack. I read both contracts.
I didn't hire him.
So, and that's what I read on there. Until they went back, hey. Or the other thing,
Is that it?
That's all I have.
the only thing
Mark?
is, when I was reading this and I was reading the other contract, was the way they do reporting accidents and making them do drug tests and alcohol tests. Those are the 2 different things. This one basically says it's required and the other one didn't. So that's what I'm saying, this one is really good. The other one is, that part of it was a little like iffy. But everything else,
Like I said, it was done 32 years ago, and I ain't gonna tell you who did it, so. Me and
I'm
Jimmy,
just saying,
me and Jimmy Morocco and an attorney,
probably.
that's who did it.
Well, guess what?
Then I
I'm
guess
not
the
even
next
going
one.
there.
All right, I think we should
I'm
go to
just
executive
saying,
session.
yeah, like for this
Wait,
one,
Art,
like
what
I
do you
said,
want?
the drug test is required, this one here, I think we need to address that when the time comes, how they're doing the drug test.
Okay.
Are we gonna do the COVID-19 and executive session also? The thing that Bobby brought to us last meeting? I think we need to address that right away, especially when he's coming down there telling us tonight, right now, we don't have the money. So we need to put something out there so our employees know what our policies are gonna be.
Well, the policy right now is like, we don't have the money, you're
Right.
gonna either use you're gonna use your time up.
But don't you think we should submit something?
But if we have part-timers, Bob, they don't really have time to do that.
They can either go in the negative or they
Go
can
in the
go,
negative,
well,
right.
that's what we talked about, allow them to go into the negative or they just don't get paid.
I'd like to see our part-time employees be able to go into the negative. I work.
I don't want anybody hurt by this if we can, help it.
Right, yeah.
But, our
And
hands.
if we do get that money retroactively.
Exactly,
we'll have
we
to
can pay
make
it back, but I don't want to open Pandora's box either, Like going and paying everybody this and that, and we don't get the money, and then all of a sudden, we don't have the money to pay, we can't play favorites with that either.
You want to get a committee?
So right now, until we get, I think we need a committee to do this, so I think you guys need to form a quick committee and say, okay, let's get this together.
You wrote that
contract.
Yeah. We need one.
You're right.
Yeah, so, don't you think, Walter, we should have something for our employees to look at and our unions
Well,
to see?
I'm not gonna argue with that, I agree.
Can we go ahead and talk about this in executive session after we deal with the personnel?
We don't have the topic we're allowed to talk about, you usually have a specific topic when you go into executive session to talk about, even though, we don't talk about personnel, that's not personnel. It wouldn't matter to me, you guys can talk about it, you just can't make decisions in executive session.
Right.
So, you can talk about it.
All right, Jack, go ahead.
I make a motion to go to executive session.
I second it.
Okay, roll call.
Hey, Cal.
Yes?